Honest Jim here. It's I think it's November 4th, 2024, and the next thing that's happening is the election in America. But I'm not here to talk about that. I'm here to talk about the logistical problems for Americans functioning in Thailand once we get here. Now, everybody has all these channels about uh, how great Thailand is and why I want to leave Thailand. And I'm not here to talk about that. I'm here to talk about today something different. I'm here to talk about the logistical situation you have to deal with when you get here. It has nothing to do with Thailand. Thailand's fine. I will tell you that right now. I've been in and out of Thailand. I live here now for 4 years in Buriram with my wife and my 14-year-old son who goes to international school. They have a great international school here. And I'm not gonna belittle Thailand. I want to talk about America's institutions and how they fail to support us overseas. And this may apply to Australians, UK guys, Japanese friends. Anybody who wants to move to Thailand has to have financial ability to obtain funds. And usually it's just fine. I used Wise for years. Wise came in just fine. And then I got into a tiff with them. I'm a Chase Bank guy. I've been for 20 years. It's one of the great banks in America and in the world. And Jamie Dimon really knows his stuff. But he goes to these Swiss meetings with all these incredible, powerful people, and then comes back and talks about, in 2 years we're going to have a recession or this and that, instead of the bank taking care of me. All right. In a previous archive, if you look back on my channel, I had about a 15 or 20 minute rant about Chase Bank and what was going on with my debit card and my PIN number. Well, to bring you up to date, I depend on this because my Social Security check goes directly into the bank. And as I said before, if I wanted to change it in Thailand, Nam and I went downtown many years ago to try to have it directly deposited into the Bangkok Bank. And it took us all day. We went upstairs without going into the la-di-da. It was really difficult, and they wanted to keep our money for almost 2 months before they'd give it to us, and then it would kick in and blah, 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 and we just declined to do it. So we have to rely on Chase Bank. Chase Bank has religiously sent us our money out of my Social Security account regularly until about 6 months ago. Now, I don't know what happened with Chase Bank and Social Security, which I'm going to get into again. I'm going to finish up my previous rants. This is not new stuff. But in bringing up at least the background, I've had 3 debit cards. I don't believe in credit cards. I use debit cards. I've had 3 debit cards from Chase Bank declined. They don't work. And to add insult to injury, they have now failed. They canceled my PIN number. This last time, they canceled my card without telling me, and now they've canceled my PIN number. I have no access to my account. I called them and they told me, well, I tried to book a hotel. I've got to go to Bumrungrad Hospital for some medical care. And I wanted to fly on the airplane. And now I have to take a $20 bus ticket for cash, 5.5 hours in and 5.5 hours back with my feet on the ground. And I got swollen feet. It's not good for me, but I've got no choice. Thank you to Jamie Dimon. Now, what they did is they canceled my last card, which didn't work anyway. It was declined. I called them up to discuss it, and they said, oh, your card's no good. And when you're going to love this, when you want to call into the service, recording, we're all here for you, and everything's going to be, we can't do enough for you, and thank you very much for calling us. When I go through that, I have to punch all my card numbers. Then I had to punch in my ATM number and a pound number, and they go, oh, we don't recognize your number because they canceled my card without telling me. So they don't recognize it. So I keep punching to try to get, a human being to talk to. And then they say, I'm sorry, we're closed. Why don't you call us during normal business hours? Now, they're in New York, Texas, LA, and Timbuktu. Where are their normal business hours? And why did you tell us that at the start? Instead of putting all stuff in, we're closed now. Please call us Eastern Daylight Time or Pacific Coast Time. This is one of the great banks in the world. And Jamie Dimon doesn't understand that people overseas, and there's got to be 1 million plus Chase Bank customers overseas have to go through this to be told we're not open. The other thing is about every 2 or 3 months, my password won't work when I'm trying to access my account. And it says, well, you want us to text you, or you want us to call you? Well, those don't work. They won't do. Believe me, I've checked it. They won't do anything for international customers, or at least for me. They won't text me. Wise text me right away and give me a code, and I punch it in. Other companies smaller than Jamie Dimon's Chase Bank can do this nationally. Why they don't do it, I don't know. So what I have to do is they say, oh, here's our phone number, call us. So every couple, 3 months, I have to call them and get a code. And I asked the service lady finally a couple months ago, why do we have to do this? Why don't you just do like the other international companies, and just, send me a text on my phone, on my international number. We don't do that. Her answer was, which is not, I don't believe it, was, well, we can't do that because she said, we have to see you, and we have to talk to you. We have to, to verify your number. Okay, so that's their answer. I don't believe it, but that's what Jamie Dimon of Chase Bank has decided, that all their international customers have to call every 2 or 3 months and verify themselves. They must really be getting hacked and whacked for money. Because as I go on with this rant, you're going to see just how scared Chase Bank is. And I don't blame them, because there's people out all over the world hacking and whacking and hewing at yours and my bank account. So anyway, I got through all that, and they finally sent me a final card. I used it, it was declined. I called them up. This is my 3rd card. I called them up, said, why was it declined? And she gave some gobbledygook, and they said, I want to speak to a manager. I'm done with this, regular folks. And so I waited, and I got a lady on the phone who was apparently some kind of a supervisor, and she told me after I was not happy. We had a heated discussion, and she told me that now get this, I'm sitting down. When you want to order an airline ticket or you want to book a hotel, your card's fine. Your card's fine, which was declined. You have to be sure to put in your address. She asked me what my address was in Thailand, and I told her, and she said, yeah, that's correct. You have to put in that address, and everything will be fine. Now, you folks out there, especially Americans, have you ever had to put in your address to book a hotel? Do they have a place for your address to book a hotel or anything else? They want your name, they want your number, they want your PIN number, they want this, they want that, which we all have. But this woman told me to put in my whole mailing address to make it work. So that was the end of my service conversation with the Chase Bank, and thank you, Jamie Dimon, again for your fabulous input. You can go to Switzerland and take care of the richest people in the world, but us guys, here we are. We get nothing. So this went on for a while. My card finally came. My last card came, and I tried to. My wife went up to Buriram Bank, and we put the card in to get some money. Get at the ATM to get some cash. The PIN number's no good. I waited over a month to get that card, and the last 2 cards they sent me, the PIN number worked. It was my PIN number I've had for years. The PIN number worked, but I had a problem with the card. Then they canceled the card, as I've told you in my previous archive rant. So now there's no PIN number, so we can't get any money. I have a wife and a 14-year-old son here and bills to pay again. And I told you about I had to get a gift card. I had to go into town and find a gift card, which was another mountainous problem. Getting Netflix to take it, because they kept saying, well, put in your credit card, which I didn't have anymore. It was on and on. It took days of hours of work to get the gift card to work. But anyway, that's in my past archives. You don't want to hear it again. So my current status is no card, no PIN number, no money. Now last Friday, this is Tuesday in Thailand, the 5th, actually it's the 5th, but they won't be voting in America until tomorrow. So I'm out of money. My daughter and her stepson have a significant account in Chase in Olympia. Significant account. She now wires me the money on her phone. So I called her on Friday and I said, hey, send so much money, send enough for the month. Okay, Dad, I sent it. No money on Friday, no money on Saturday, no money on Sunday, no money on Monday. We are borrowing money from my wife's dad to buy food and gasoline to take our son to school. I've never been in this situation. Now, if I had my card and PIN number, which I always had months before for years, I could just go to the ATM and get some money. No problem, and wait for them to send me my money. Well, I have nothing now. I have no card, no PIN number, the wiring. It's Tuesday now. It's been 5 days and no money. And I'm sitting here. I'm supposed to go to Bumrungrad Hospital tonight on the bus. I was going to go on an airplane, but it's going to be an 11-hour round trip on the bus because we had $20 that we could buy the ticket from last week. So I'm faced with a bus trip. I have no money to pay Bumrungrad. I have no money for anything. So that's my current situation, and I want to thank you for listening this far. So if you folks from all over other countries that want to come here, come on here. It's great. Make sure your logistics and your financial situation is really rock solid, because Thailand's great, but the rest of the countries and their financial situation, I don't know. We have hundreds of thousands of Americans here. And we all have to call Chase Bank back every 2 or 3 months. Okay, now Social Security. I've already talked about it. I already went through it in my last archive, and I don't want to berate it here, but I've heard nothing. As I said, I took the wet ink degraded form and filled out the things I could fill out without, filling out something I didn't know what it was and having my check canceled. After they told me in August they would send me a new form that had been rained out and wrecked. They would send me a new form in September. Well, I waited till November and finally filled out my wife said, why don't you send the old form? So I filled it out as best I could and signed it, and I wrote a letter that I hereby incorporate my previous form into this form because nothing's changed, and signed that. And it cost, I went to the post office and I wanted to send it right away. Well, they wanted like $50 to expedite it and said it would take 3 to 4 weeks. 3 to 4 weeks to get to Social Security. So I said, well, that won't work. How much does it cost to send it regular mail? $2. And it'll get there within 2 to 3 months. Might get there at the same time that the $50 mail gets there. So I said, well, I'll do the $2 one. I don't care anymore. We posted it, and that's the end of that. I haven't heard anything from them either. So the upshot of all this is thanks for listening. But if you want to come to Thailand, especially Americans, make sure you've got all your banking stuff squared away. And I know I've talked to a couple of my friends, and they go, oh yeah, everything's great. We've got a good time. I spent years here without any interruptions. And I also want to mention that I got in the interim of all this, Chase sent me a 29-page, basically single-space regulation document in the meantime, and are going to charge me $12 a month now, it says on it, for my debit card, which I can't use. So this was insult to injury. And I didn't even want to read the whole thing. It's just some lawyers in New York City, uh, probably, charge Chase a couple $100,000 to write all that stuff out. And so not only are not honoring my banking ability with them, they're insulting me by sending me a 29-page document like that took 6 weeks to get here. And I hope Jamie Dimon, somebody sends this to him, because this is a nightmare for a good, valid customer. And I can't think of anything else to say right now. That's about it. But I hope you understand, if you're going to move to a foreign country, not just Thailand, that you got your banking set up or your cash, and you figured out, like a Bangkok bank has been great. These big international banks in the other countries are good. And don't forget, if you have more than $10,000 coming into a foreign bank, you have to file a big report with the United States government. Don't forget that. Okay, well, that's enough from Honest Jim. Carry on, and the election's tomorrow, and I didn't want to get into any political discourse on this channel, but I am forced to say one thing. And I'm not going to say who I'm going to vote for, but I'm forced to say one thing based on my recent experience. Donald Trump wants to fire all the bureaucrats that work in the United States government and put his people in. The first part of that, I'm not sure, he's not right. Putting his people in there, I'm not sure he's right. But the point is, our banking institutions and our Social Security institutions, which have been put over in Manila, which we can't access, it's just a complete mess. And I hope whoever becomes president will deal with it and clean it up and straighten it out. I know now, I didn't know before, but I know now why people so many millions of people want to vote for Trump. This is ridiculous what I've had to go through. But anyway, Honest Jim, sign off. Let's see what happens in a couple of days, who wins the election. It's exciting, isn't it? Bye.